What's going on, TubeU? Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gents. Today's little video, as you can tell by the title, we're finally mounting the Mickey Thompson Street SS. I've been pretty excited about this tire. It's been a hot minute since I've, had the tire shop, obviously, because these guys, they lasted a good little while, I'll say a little over a year. Obviously, if you do moderate driving or little to no driving at all, these last you a lot longer than they lasted me. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you the tread real quick. So yeah, there's the wear bar right there. Look at it. That's pretty level. So they're pretty much done. They're done. And listen to how hard they are. They are hard as rocks, man. And you come over here to the Mickey Thompson, and all I did was tap the tire. Look at that. I'm just tapping the tire. Those are my fingernails. Look at that. Just tapping the tire. That's how soft they are. So it's going to be super interesting to see how these react to the cold weather outside, because it's been not the nicest out. And these guys right here, I'm going to get into how they react to everything once we get back. We're going to do the final review, putting these guys out there. My final thoughts, I should say, on the Turo AZ850 DRs. Once again, these are not the regular AZ850. These are AZ850 DRs, the drag radial version. You can see the tread pattern is a lot different. It's a lot softer compound, unless it's cold out. But like I said, we'll get into that in a little bit, just to not confuse anyone, that these are not the regular AZ850s. Pretty much direct competitors, even down to the pricing, the Mickey Thompson being the most expensive. And yeah, they better perform with how much they cost. I think these were like $510 or $516 a piece. They were $5 something a piece, compared to the Turos being the cheapest, the Nitos being the mid-ground. I think the Nitos are only like a few bucks more than the Turos were. But like I said, we'll do the final thoughts on these guys when we come back. And we're getting these mounted balance, come right back up here, and we're going to do the same road, same surface, so there's no advantage for the Mickey Thompson Street SS for 0 to 60 hits. And I'm going to take my drag it this time, because most of the time I use the onboard timer, but I'm just curious to see how it stacks up, because I do have some old draggy passes on my old phone that I'm going to go and compare the 0 to 60 times of the Turos. The Turos, I think the best I was able to manage on the street was like a 3.7 or a 3.8 or something like that. Maybe a little lower, I don't know. But they used to be, pretty good, actually, when they had a lot of tread. But as you can see, there ain't much left. So let's go ahead and get them in there, get down to the tire shop, and then I'll wait till I get back up here where I can do my testing at, because I don't want there to be any advantages for the Mickey Thompson Street SS with having like a better road surface or anything. Going to the same dirty, dusty ass roads that we took the Turos to and we took the Nitos to. Doing 0 to 60 hits, that's it. And we'll see how well she goes. So let's get to it. Alrighty, Mickeys are mounted. Just did a slight little roll into it. Well, it was like a lot of roll into it. Just to, break off all that new grease. And let's hit the highway, shall we? Let's get our asses back home. See what these things are really doing. Open them up, do some 40s and 60s and stuff. Alright, let's do a 60 first. Hooked and booked. Hooked and booked. And that's on the concrete. And this stuff stays cold. This is a smoother one right here. Yeah, let's get down to 40. Let's do a second. Second gear 40. Shook them off a little bit, but that's literally what all three tires have done. They shook them off a little bit at 40, and then she just bit right up and went. I'm more interested in the 0 to 60s though. That's what I really want to see. But the 40s have went all pretty much the same way, where she shakes a little bit, then just goes, or spins a little bit, I should say. Where she just spins, gives a little bit of wheel slip, and then she just hooks up. All three tires, the AZ850s, the Nitos, and now the Mickey Thompson Street SS. That's still brand new, not broken in, not worn in or anything yet. That's still brand freaking new. As soon as they got mounted, I came out here and tried to do some 40s and 60s. I did the same three, and they all reacted the same way. So put a few more miles on them, then we're gonna do it again. They're thinking like, what the hell is this guy's problem? I'm just over here doing 40 rolls, bro. Let's get another one here. I wanted to do a 6130 while I was down here, but traffic's a little crazy right now, so that ain't gonna happen. Let's try another 40. I'm gonna try from third this time. Third usually always hooks up. 30 to 40 is pretty reliable. Yeah, look how low the RPMs are. 40. Yeah, that's nothing. That's nothing. That is nothing. To 60. Just let this clown go by fast. There you go. 30 to 60. Good to go. I want to do one more 40. I really, now that they got some heat in them, now that they got a little bit of wear on them, I'm gonna do one more 40 while we're on this road surface real quick. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's it right there. That's it right there. Oh yeah. Oh boy, feels good. Catch me lacking now. Ain't. Hey man, I don't know, man. Based off of that one, hey, the Nitos, woo, they might have a run for their money. The Nitos were at the top of my list, but the Mickeys, hey man, that might be the only tire I run going forward. I can't wait to see what these 60 to 130 or 0 to 60s look like. Man, I should have did it. That felt good. I should have just stayed in it and do a 6130, but the Dragon wasn't running. Oh man, damn. That felt good. That felt good. So I'll check back in whenever I'm able to do my 0 to 60s, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this video up and give my conclusion on the Arturo AZ850 DRs. So hang tight, check back in with you guys shortly, all right? All right, 0 to 60. Just gonna leave it in first. Bring it up. Lights them up. Lit them up. All right. I didn't expect it to hold the first. Not at all. All right, let's try the second gear. All right, same thing, but in second gear. Should hold. Especially now I got some heat in it. On the Draggy, see what I mean? Draggy says 401 and the onboard timer says 3.7. So if I'm going by the onboard timer, then it's right there alongside the Arturos and the Nitos. So we'll do one more second gear. I'm surprised. I ain't gonna freaking lie, it's looking up pretty good. I think I can get into it a little earlier and see if we can get a better time on the Draggy. Because onboard timer just records what the hell it wants to. On the Draggy and 3.4 on the onboard timer. See what I mean? So we're getting there. We're getting there. Doing 0 to 60s, but that felt very good, so I stayed in it. Oh, 11.4 on the street, that's crazy. 6130 is ass, of course. I don't know how. 11.4 on the street. Okay. I ain't mad at it. 0 to 60. Alrighty, Tube U. Now that we're back in the garage, let's go ahead and wrap this video up. I'm going to do the conclusion on the Arturo AZ850 DRs and my first initial thoughts on the Street SS. So, starting off with this. On Arturo's website, it has in clear as day letters or numbers. Not for use below 60 degrees. Cool. However, I tend to drive this car year round, and I'm going to be taking it out in cooler weather. And to keep testing, for testing purposes, I will be taking it in the same exact conditions that I took the Nitos, and I will be doing the same exact thing for these Mickey Thompson Street SS. So I will be driving it in less than 60-degree weather. Just so you guys are aware, we're going to keep it the same across the board. Now, excuse me, the Turos, when they first went on the car, they were phenomenal. You guys can go back and watch that initial thoughts video. 0 to 60 times for all three tires seem to be pretty similar. There's no dramatic difference between the three. They all seem to hook up pretty much the same. The Turos did need a little more wearing in before they started to bite and started to, you know, actually hook up and perform. So they needed a little more effort before they were able to, you know, get down and provide some decent times. So the Turos, you know, it took a little bit. It took a little bit for them. The Nitos, after about, you know, 1 or 2 hits, they were good to go. And the Mickey Thompsons, they literally just went out there and went. As you saw today, they just bite down and go. So nothing crazy about the Mickey Thompsons so far, but the Turos, I'll say this: if you're in a warm weather and you want a decent tire that's not as expensive as a Street SS, and maybe the Nito 55 R2 is out of stock, then maybe the Turo might be a good option for you. If it were me and it were my money, I would probably be sticking to either Street SS or the Nito 55 R2. That's just me. That's just me. That's just me. After a year, not even a full year with the Turo AZ850s, the performance decline at the end of life was pretty dramatic. I don't remember that happening with the 55 R2. They seemed to perform all the way up until I got ready to swap over to the Turos. So I expected pretty much the same for the Turos, but it just wasn't the case. They just did not perform closer to the end of life. When they were new and it was warm and everything was good to go, the Turos performed. They did great. They would do good on 40s. They would do good on 60s. Like I said, 40s, they need a little convincing. It took about a hit or two. But on cooler days like today, where it's nice and overcast and you don't have the sun out there warming up the streets to give you a nice warm surface, the Turos did not like that type of stuff at all. They do not perform. As a matter of fact, here's my typical day of driving. Go to the gym, park the car, go do my workout, go hit the showers, come back out, get into the car. By this time, the tires are nice and cold. They've been sitting outside, so they're pretty hard. They're pretty freaking hard. Pause. But they just do not like being out in the cold at all. They turn into little freaking rocks, man. They don't like it. So the minute I put the car into drive, leaving the gym, I can feel and hear the car skipping and chattering. I will go to the stop sign and just breathing on the throttle, just leaving the freaking stop sign, it starts to spin down the street. Like nothing crazy, because I know now not to do that. So nothing crazy, but the Nitos never had that issue. The Turos, man, oh man, if it's a cold road, hold on to your butts, because they're going to spin. They're going to spin. I know I'm going to have the naysayers and the Turo fans and people out there who probably have the same tire. Oh, I took mine at 40 degrees. I don't have that issue. Like I can literally go back and show you tons of footage from group chats and things like that on why you shouldn't take these tires out, take those tires out into the freaking cold. That's just literal video evidence. So I'm not going to sit here and argue with anyone in the comments. If you enjoy those Turos, go right ahead. If it were me and my money, I probably won't buy them again unless I'm stuck somewhere where it's only warm and hot out. That's it. If I'm in the middle of Guam where it's 80 degrees all year, maybe the Turos are a good option. But if you're somewhere else where it does get cold and the sun does go in and, you know, it does reach temperatures way below 60 degrees, then yeah, you probably should look at a different option. Maybe the 55 R2s or the Mickey Thompson Street SS as we've seen today. What's another issue I had with them? The chipping. So not the chipping, the splitting. So these grooves right here, I actually have the clip. I was able to record it before I left the tire shop. So these grooves right here, the tires started to split. The Turo started splitting, and I don't know if that's from being out in the sun or driving them in the cold. My assumption is driving them in the cold, and I think that's what a lot of people would agree with. It's probably what I'm going to hear in the comments anyway. Oh, it's because you're an idiot and you took them in the cold. Whatever. They still need to be able to perform. They still need to be able to do daily driver duty. The Turos, the Nitos did it, so the Turos should be able to do it the same. point blank period. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with these guys. They will be sitting in nice cold morning, because we still have a couple of weeks maybe of cool mornings. So these will be going to the gym, sitting in a nice cold parking lot, getting ice cold, and I will be taking off the same exact way to see how they react. So another issue I had with the Arturos was just daily driving. Daily driving in anything below 75 degrees, trying to leave stoplight, stop sign, or anything like that with any sort of quickness or any sort of effort, any sort of throttle input, the car would just go into a wheel hop. It was pretty annoying. Like sometimes she would just hook, but most of the time it would just freaking wheel hop. And you know, I'm pretty sure something is probably on his last legs under there because of the amount of wheel hop that those tires cause. Like every freaking time I even looked at the throttle, it was just wheel hop, wheel hop, wheel hop. Or if it's not wheel hop, then it's spinning. If it's very rare to spin, the only road that I know of, like I said, leaving the gym in the morning, it will spin down that road in front of the gym. Like it will spin that road, but most other roads, it just goes in the freaking wheel hop, and it just does not sound like a good time going on back there in the rear end, man. It's not good. The Nitos, like I said, they would just spin. They would spin. If the Nitos didn't have traction, they just spun. They didn't go into wheel hop. The Arturos, man, they just go into a mad freaking wheel hop like every chance it got. It was pretty freaking annoying. I'm not gonna lie. But like I said, once again, not for use below 60 degrees. Okay. For cruisers, I would actually have to put the drag pack on, because it got to the point where closer to the end of life for the Arturos, where they just weren't safe. Like I couldn't go out. Everyone would accelerate. Everyone, you know, take off, and I couldn't keep up because every time I looked near the freaking throttle, the Arturos would just spin. Like I'd be in the middle of a freaking 405, and it would just light them up. Like I couldn't keep up with anyone. I'm out here literally losing to regular traffic and not being able to pass people safely because the Arturos would just spin because they were so freaking cold. So I ended up to the point where I would just drive around on these. If someone said something about cruises and we're actually going somewhere, now if we're just going like in town somewhere to the in-town Cars and Coffee, then I didn't worry about it, because you know, I shouldn't be racing 0.5 miles down the road. But if we're going somewhere like 2.5 hours away, I'm probably going to throw the drag pack on, simply because they were a lot safer. Even in colder temperatures, 30-40 degrees out, the drag pack was a safer option over the Arturos, because they just were not safe in colder temperatures, man. It was pretty annoying. Like I just wanted a street tire that I can go out there and have fun with, and they just did not allow that on colder mornings. I'm sorry. So like I said, for the Arturos, it says on their website for use above 60 degrees. I found that it's actually closer to 75 degrees, but you know, that's neither here nor there. If you want a good tire above 75 degrees, the Arturos might be an option for you. If you plan on doing any types of cold weather driving, or even taking advantage of some boost season weather, then Arturos might not be for you. Now, enough beating on them. Let's move on and give my initial thoughts on the Street SS and hurry up and wrap this video up. Street SS, like I said, 0 to 60s, nothing crazy, nothing to beat around the bush. They're pretty much in line with the Nitos and Arturos were when they were brand new. I did, however, manage to cut a 1.9 60 foot on the street on a bare naked ass surface. 1.9 60 foot. I know that's no world record. That's not beating any crazy times or anything like that, but a 1.9 60 foot, I was pretty impressed with that on a naked ass surface on this brand new tire. That was impressive. I thought I was on these things for a second. 1.9 60 foot, that's crazy. They ended up being like a 3.6 0 to 60 or something like that. So not a bad start. Not a bad start, Mickey Thompson. I'm not gonna lie, man. If we're just going off of the initial impressions, first initial impression, it will be Nito first, then Mickey Thompson, and then the Arturos will be third place of these three tires since I've tested them all out. The only reason I have the Nitos number one is because of the price. Because of the 0 to 60s, like I said, they're all pretty similar, but the Nitos were a tad bit cheaper. These were like 5 something a piece, and Nitos only like 4 something a piece. So if the Nitos perform just as good as these, and they're cheaper, and they have the same lip thing going on, then I think the Nitos will be the better option. Because like I said, 0 to 60s, there's no clear winner there as far as what I've been able to achieve out here on the streets. All three in the same conditions, all three same weather, all three same road. 0 to 60 times were pretty much the same across all three tires. Well, one of the downfalls that I read online of these tires was, of course, the lifespan of them. So with it being a nice, soft, sticky compound, they tend not to last as long. So as you can see, the Turos lasted about a year, not even a full year, because they went on around May of last year, if I'm not mistaken. So not a full year with the Turos, and almost, or a little over a year, I believe, with the Nitos. So if these last about the same amount of time, then good. If not, then best believe you guys will be getting an update when it's time to, you know, give my final thoughts on these tires down the road. Another issue that I read about before buying these tires was the tire sway. I didn't notice any of that today. Well, not quite, but kind of, sort of. All right, so let me explain. So when I was doing all of my runs, my 0 to 60 quarter miles and the 6130s and stuff like that, when I was doing all those runs and I got it up to speeds, I didn't notice any sway as the car was under load. So as it was accelerating and under load and, you know, going down the street, there was no sway. However, once I unloaded and got off the throttle and the rear end got light, it did sway a little bit. You know, it did a little bit of swimming, almost like a swimming motion. It kind of felt like I was back on the Hoosiers, but the Hoosiers, they did that shit the entire time. Like anytime I went near the throttle and started getting into it, it would start swaying. And one of the people that one of the comments that I read about them was how they sway at high speeds. I don't know how high of a speed I got to get, but I got them up pretty high today, and I didn't notice any swaying when I was under acceleration. So no crazy drama there. But when I went to unload and decelerate and stuff like that, it did, you know, do a little bit of swimming. It swam. I'll say that. Wasn't anything crazy. Wasn't anything dramatic. Just a little. And I think that's due to the soft sidewall that we got going on here, because it is still a freaking radial. So the Turos didn't have that problem, and I don't remember that with the Nitos either. So maybe it was just the road surface. Maybe it was one-off thing. We'll see in the future if it stays that way. But it didn't seem like anything to like not buy them again over, if that makes any sense. So it didn't seem like a deal breaker or anything like that. But I'll keep an eye on to see if it does any of that crazy swaying stuff for those of you who are interested in picking up a set of these. But as of right now, they get my thumbs up, man. I would say go buy a set if you have the means, because like I said, they aren't the cheapest. They're like $500 a pop, so just over $1,000 for a set of two. The Nitos were the second cheapest, and the Turos are the cheapest, not that far behind the Nitos. But as of right now, these guys get a thumbs up. I'm pretty impressed with the first 0 to 60, so first 60 miles and the first 40 rolls that we've been able to do on the Mickey Thompsons. So those are my initial thoughts on the Street SS, man. A damn good tire. It seems to hook up good, and I haven't had any crazy issues out of it with the little bit of testing we were able to do today. Now, I will be circling back at the end of life when it's time to move on to a different tire, or just re-up and get more Street SS. I don't know which route I'm going just yet. We will see based on how these tires perform over the next coming months and a couple of thousand miles of usage. So that concludes this video, man. My initial thoughts on the Street SS. If it's your first time stopping by, like, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you guys get notification when these videos go up. So go to the Instagram channel at low 3 seconds slow, all one word. I'll put it down in the description, and also down in the description I will put the initial thoughts and the reviews of the Nito 55R2 and the Turo AZ850 DRs if you guys are interested in those as well. So until next time, Tube, I'm out. Peace.